Alright, so I know this video is late, but I don't care. I still want to do it, so here we go. 2020 was a big gigantic mental evaluation for a lot of people, and it was an absolute dumpster fire with everything going on in the world. But when it came to the actual S.H.Figuarts line, I'd say that the releases last year were pretty good. So like I have to do each and every single year, here is my list for the top 16 S.H.Figuarts of 2020.
Number 16, Zamasu.
So I actually don't full-on hate this figure, but my gosh, is it lazy. You'd think that because this is a repaint that Tamashii would at least give us a decent amount of accessories to make up for that, or at least have the figure at a decent price point. But no, they put this on a website called Premium Bandai and sell it for the same exact price as Vegito, who, if you look, has way more accessories than this figure, who only comes with a pair of hands and a couple of faces. Literally exactly like how they did Golden Frieza. I mean, sure, the base figure is just fine, but still, a lazy release is a lazy release. And my gosh, they could have done so much more with this figure, and they didn't. Moving on.
Number 15, event exclusive Android 18.
So I was really happy that Tamashii went and re-released the androids in some form because it was an opportunity for me to get this figure as I didn't really have its initial counterpart. I definitely think that they stepped it up with the paint. When it comes to the accessories, you pretty much get the exact same thing other than the couple of accessories that came with the original that goes with the S.H.Figuarts Krillin. It's an absolutely fantastic base figure, but the thing that I feel like it lacks, just like with the original, is that there's not a lot of play factor or accessories that goes with it. And when it comes to the rest of the list, you're gonna see that being a very consistent thing.
Number 14, Bulba.
So I have no idea what they were doing back in 2018, because this is the Bulba that we should have gotten from the very beginning. I'm a really big fan of the scared face. It's so stylized and accurate to how she would look in the show. I only wish she would have come with an angry face. Just like with the Bulma figure last year, it lacks a face that I feel is really an iconic trait of the character, and is part of the gag reels that goes along with the earlier stages of Dragon Ball. And although this may not be its own part on the list, a separate release that they went and did was do the motorbike that Bulma had actually rode around in. I didn't get it, but just including those types of things is really fun. When it comes to this Bulma, the articulation's pretty good, the quality of the figure feels nice as well, and the play factor with the gun and everything like that is also really well done. So definitely props to Tamashii Nations for that.
Number 30, oh my god, no. Number 13, Chichi.
So this is a really awkward figure to discuss for multiple reasons, and I'm sure I don't need to explain why this is one of the few that I passed on getting last year. It's accurate to the source material, it has some decent playability with the axe accessory, and the articulation seems to be on point based on some of the reviews I've seen. And when all of that is accounted for, it makes its spot in this section of the list.
Oh, thank heavens we're done with that. Number 12, Piccolo.
Here we have one of last year's latest releases, and this is a character that a lot of people have heavily anticipated. A bunch of times before this, before there was even promo pictures, people have always asked for a 2.0 Piccolo, because the 1.0 Piccolo was the very first figure that they had went and released, and we've just severely needed an update for it. So to get into the good things first is that we have a lot of really nice accessories that comes with this. We got his signature cape, a pair of crossed arms, a cut-off arm piece, and some really exceptional faces with and without the turban. So what could have possibly gone wrong here? I'll tell it to you bluntly. The torso articulation is some of the worst I've ever seen, with a huge amount of gapping going into it. The paint that they used on this Piccolo is really shiny for no reason. It would have absolutely benefited with a matte finish, and the proportions on this figure are really weird too, and it's such a shame that a beloved character like this was given such a lack of care, especially when the 1.0 counterpart was the first Figuarts, just like I said earlier. Oh yeah, and that's not even mentioning that his stern face literally has lipstick on it. Like, what the heck are they doing with this figure, bro? Come on, Tamashii. You can clearly do better. You've shown you can do better, so stop doing your figures so dirty.
Number 11, Great Ape Monkey like Vegeta.
He's a huge, gigantic behemoth of a figure, and you're probably gonna have some trouble finding a spot to actually have him displayed. He is a figure that I passed on getting last year because I don't have any space to put him anywhere in my room, so he might only be ranked right here just because I don't have a lot of experience with it. When it comes to the sculpting on this Grade 8 Vegeta, they absolutely killed it with the amount of details put onto here. The fur is really nice, the damage on his armor is really cool as well, and I also like how you can interchange the eyes so that you can have one of his eyes be damaged from that blast that Goku did. But with that being said, let's finally get into the top 10 figures of 2020.
Number 10, event exclusive Android 17.
It's pretty much just like the original release, but with better paint apps, which honestly you can't even fault the exclusive for. I really like the way that they went about it. The one problem that I do have is that the teeth gritted face is going and looking to the side, which is limiting posability, and I don't know why they did that when the first face that they had with the teeth gritted face was looking straight. Why do you gotta do that, Tamashi? I don't know why, but it's definitely worth getting over the original Android 17 if you missed out on that.
Number 9, Jacky Chun.
Now here's a fun and underrated figure. Jacky Chun uses the same mold as Master Roshi, but it has so many new parts on him that gives him his own sense of identity. Oh, and here's the cool improvement from Master Roshi. He actually comes with a pair of Kamehameha hands because the person who made the technique would obviously come with a pair of hands like that. Right, Tamashi? Oh, and can we also mention the fact that he comes with a microphone? I know that seems like a random accessory, but it's so perfect for the era that was for Dragon Ball. The one issue with this figure is that because he uses the same body mold as the original Master Roshi, the torso is still limited in the articulation and creates gaps in the body when you're moving it around. But this is an example of how Tamashi can be when they actually put some effort into their figures, unlike they did with Zamasu.
Number 8, Kaiken Monkey Goku.
If you watch my video where I ranked all of the currently released Gokus, you know that he's among the best of the Gokus in the line. The paintwork is like that of an event exclusive, and the hair swaps that you can do with this figure brings in so much fun factor. And again, the price point definitely brings him a lot higher because he's only $35. Great job, Tamashi.
Number 7, Jiren The Grey.
Now here's a guy who definitely didn't get overlooked last year. Jiren is a really fun figure. He's got some pretty cool articulations, got some decent amount of accessories like the fire fist and the fire flame effect that you can put around the fist, which is really nice. I like that they did that, but the things that hold this figure back are a couple of issues. One of the issues is that some people might have difficulty moving the arms, and a secondary issue that was highlighted to me for my friend Melmac Effects would have absolutely benefited from a matte finish. But to sum it up for this figure, I think it's definitely a decent release, not too bad, and definitely worth getting if you need a Jiren figure.
My, look what we have here at number 6. It's good to see you again, Captain Ginyu.
Captain Ginyu is a really expressive character in both his personality and his poses, and when he's put into figure form, it's captured magnificently. The way they handled the articulation on the figure is made like it was engineered specifically for him. There is hardly any gapping that is caused in the ab crunch, and the faces included are done really well. The really unique accessory is an interchangeable damaged armor piece for the scene in the show where he damaged himself before taking Goku's body. The one issue that I have with this figure, however, comes with the armor pieces. When you articulate the figure, the pieces easily fall off, and this is most likely to prevent you from breaking the figure. However, it becomes really annoying after a while when you're posing it. Other than that, it's a relatively good figure, and if you're a fan of the Ginyu Force, I'm sure I don't need to recommend this to you to get into your collection.
Number 5, Ultra Instinct Omen Monkey. And number 4, Mastered Ultra Instinct Monkey.
Frieza, just call him Goku, please.
No, they're monkeys. Deal with it.
So an immediate question you guys have is, why is the ranking of this Goku different from how I ranked them on the original Goku list? So I'm heavily biased towards the Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, but when it comes down to it, both of these forms set out all of the required fields they have to do. Both of the designs are captured in the figures, and their accessories help elevate them. With all things considered, it comes down to personal preference between the two designs, and the MUI Goku only exceeds what the Ultra Instinct Omen Goku did because he comes with the Kamehameha effect piece that I didn't really consider last time when I initially made the list. When it comes down to it, I'll admit these are my personal favorite figures of last year, and they're definitely amongst my highest regarded figures in my collection. I love Ultra Instinct and how Goku is, but when it comes down to every other figure and looking at it like not as a character or anything like that, but as a figure, this is the placement that they would be put in.
Number 3, Final Battle Jiren.
In the wise words of my buddy Jay Uchiha, Jiren is built different. Like, this guy's ridiculous. The muscles on him rivals the bulk that Broly has, and the sculpt work going for this guy is crazy immaculate. going as far as making the skin on the back of his forehead fold over like a 40-year-old man. And if that wasn't enough, just look at the facial expressions. Like, I swear, they look like they came directly out of the anime. And I can reference each and every single facial expression and where they got it from on this. But an issue that this Jiren figure has is that the lower body articulation is really bad. The legs are a little unstable due to how big his torso is, and the actual waist articulation is not very effective at all. Like, it becomes a little difficult to actually pose this guy around because of those limits to the torso articulation, which is really a shame because the very first Jiren that they went and released did a lot better with that. But with everything else that this figure does right, it excels in.
Number 2, Mercenary Tau.
If I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed that Mercenary Tau made it this far on the list, because in terms of his overall character, it's the weakest for me. But when it comes to the figure, they were not slacking. Mercenary Tau comes with everything you need and more. The pink column that he threw that can connect to his interchangeable bottom foot pieces, the unique facial expressions, and the matte finish that they put on here and not on Piccolo and Jiren for whatever reason. And it all comes together really nicely. But anyways, guys, you already know what's gonna be number 1. This is probably expected to a lot of people.
Number 1, Vegito Blue.
My gosh, did Tamashii go all out with this figure or what? The accessories that comes with this are so good. You got the beautiful final Kamehameha effect piece, the gigantic beam sword effect, and that final piece that you can connect to the back of Merge Zamasu to recreate that scene where Vegito stabbed him. All of these things elevate this figure despite it being a partial reuse of the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku mold. Man, if only other releases from Premium Bandai had accessories like this. I'm looking at you, Zamasu. The figure does have a couple of gripes, however, and one of them is the way that they did the paint makes him look unnecessarily shiny. Another issue is because of the way that they sculpted the inside of the hair. When the figure sits on the neck, he looks like he's a little bit of a giraffe. There is a couple of ways to modify it though, so it's not too big of a deal, but I don't really feel like we should have to do that. And I know this is a little bit more subjective, but I think a bunch of people would have preferred a bigger V shape on the chest, just like the way they did it on the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It's the way Demonical Fit did it, and I feel like they intentionally did it like this on purpose, just to make their copy of Vegito different from how Demonical Fit did. A couple things that people may not realize at first is that he actually has like differently sculpted lower legs, and it doesn't really add anything new, but it's just something I wanted to point out. What makes him stand out from the other figures that came in 2nd and 3rd place is the difference in articulation. When compared to Mercenary Tau, you have to interchange the front piece of clothing in order to get his full movement. And when it comes to Jiren, a lot of the points of articulation is limited when compared to Vegito. So with the better articulation and the great amount of accessories, the pros of this figure easily outweigh the cons. But with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I was initially debating on whether or not I should upload this video in the first place because of how late it is, but I gotta keep the tradition going. After all, in some of the group chats, the main reason why I collect figures is just to make these lists. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Hope to see you guys soon. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Oh, and as usual, do go ahead and leave your list down in the comment section down below. I can't wait to actually go and read them and have a further discussion about figures with you guys. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Until then.